Okay, Aidan, thank you very much. Thank you very much for that performance. What do you know about Mozart's different genres when he writes for piano? Aside from keyboard sonatas and piano concertos, what other possible genres? I mean, he had 626 catalog works, right? So what else are there, what other genres are there that make him who he is, or what kind of a composer he is? Opera, okay, that's one of them, of course. Very also symphonic, orchestral works, right? Many other genres that are involved. In this particular work, would you say this is operatic? Okay, all right, great. So, especially the second movement, right? It's very, very operatic, very aria-like. So, in the classical period, when you're dealing with the separation of the melody and the harmony, you call that homophony. Okay, so usually the melody is much more prevalent, more clear than the actual harmony. So if you're able to separate that, you're doing justice to the homophony of his operas. So if you can find a way to separate the melody much more than the harmony, and you suppress the harmony, then let's see if we can do that. Let's try that again. Okay, all right, great. Now, I hear in the left hand, it's still a little bit too loud. If you can control it even more, that the left hand, don't use your fingers. Try to rotate the wrist so that it becomes more, it doesn't become vertical, but rather more legato. It depends on the edition of the piece or of your music, of the score. But here, in this particular edition, it says legato, which is a good idea. That's probably not Mozart's marking, but rather the editors. That's a guideline, that's a suggestion, okay? And I agree with that suggestion. Because you wouldn't want it to have the same kind of layer as the melody, okay? Let's try it. Can I just have the left hand alone? So rotate the wrist and very, don't allow the key to go up of one note. And right before the, don't let it go until the next one, the next note is already down. So it's halfway like that, okay? But using your wrist to control it. Try it again, left hand alone. You're still using the fingers, see? If you're doing this, even though you're playing closely, I still hear the vertical action. Let me show you what I mean by making it very rotated. See? Lower the wrist and let the wrist play. Okay, so that it does not sound like this. See? The separation. If it's vertical, it becomes separate. But if you connect it, and it's easier to control because there's only one level of the hand. Once you lift the finger, it goes to various levels of release, right? See? Or even if I don't let the key go up, it's still not even, it's not balanced. So you would want it, and that's very soft, right? try it. Rotate it. Just position the fingers on top of the keys and then rotate your wrist. Rotate. Yeah, loosen the wrist. Hard to control, no? Right, better. Okay? Now, add the right hand. So you have two layers here. One is the stagnant layer, which is the harmony, okay? And so it stays like that. It does not support. In classical period, in the classical period, it's rarely that the harmony starts supporting the melody, especially in an opening line, okay? Whereas the melody goes into contours, okay? So it's like you're driving a car and you're on a flat road. That's your harmony. And around you are the canyons, the ranges, the mountains, right? And they're contoured. That's the melody. Okay, so if you're looking at a painting of that kind, you will see the two different layers. You have a foreground, a background, and sometimes a middle ground. Okay, try it again. That's a new technique that you are not used to. So it really takes a lot of control to be able to rotate your wrist and keep it balanced and stagnant without any bumps or humps, right? Now, in these two opening melody lines or statements, in the first two measures, when you say something that you repeat, is it interesting to say it the same way? Okay, so usually if you're repeating something, either you're insisting or you're holding back. Like for example, when you say something, hello, how are you? And the person does not hear you the first time, you say, hello, how are you? Okay, or something like, what are you doing? First statement, what are you doing? And then the other person responds, and then you, and with also so much tension, to relieve the tension, you have to say it nicer. I was just wondering what you were doing. Something like that, okay? Same thing with this. So it's either you insist or you hold back, all right? A better term for holding back is retreat. It's either you're insisting or you're retreating. Okay, let's try that. Right hand alone, so that you hear the difference between the two. Okay, what did you do? You insisted? Okay. Now, I feel that the texture for a singer to sing that line, because we said it's operatic, right? It's a little bit too heavy. In general, I think you should play everything as lightly as possible, unless like the second movement where there is so much depth because of the aria. That's different. But in this kind of texture, I think you should play much lighter. Okay, so that also it will even separate further the melody from the harmony. So you want it very, very, very soprano-like, very light and airy, not so not like a tenor or a bass singer, you know. See, and then it gives you enough room to insist. So if you start a little bit lighter and a little bit softer, you would have enough room to insist in the repetition of that line. Okay. Okay. Are those two different statements? Right. Very clear. Okay. Sometimes when you have to do something like that, an opening statement, and then you have to insist or retreat, you have to exaggerate it so that it will project to your audience, okay? Because sitting in the audience, I noticed when you performed it first time, there was not much of a separation it was not a clear projection of the insistence, okay? Right, again, lighter, everything.
Okay.
Yes, sure. See, you already started mezzo forte, and then you had to play forte. But it's just the opening statement. You don't want to shock your audience immediately, especially with a Mozart sonata. You know, maybe Beethoven, you know, Pathétique, you know, those are shocking openings, okay? This one is very light, very pleasant, very jolly, very, you know, very warm in a way. You know, it's very pretty and very nice. It's not right away so scary. All right, so hold back a little bit. Okay, try it again. Better. Okay, now the next group also pam 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 pam. Repeat it. What do you want to do? Insist or retreat? Retreat. Okay, let's do that. Right. And look at your facial expression. Suddenly, you're trying to be more intimate. And you know, earlier it looked stoic. Your face was a little bit on the stoic and serious nature. Okay, you wouldn't want that in a Mozart sonata. Everything about Mozart is about humor, about entertainment, lightness. He was a cosmopolitan composer. And so a lot of his Italian operas, like La Clemenza de Tito, and even Marriage of Figaro, all of those light operas were really entertaining and humorous and comedic, very entertaining, not so serious. In the German operas, were a little bit more serious, but not so serious as a Wagner opera or things like that. Okay, so keep that as a mindset in your when you're trying to create images and characters for this movement. Okay, think of characters that are light, funny, pleasant, jolly, all of those adjectives that you would like to create in those characters. Okay, let's try that again. I think you're getting it. Let's try it again from the beginning. Go on, that was good. Go on, continue. Repeat. What are you going to do? Retreat or insist? If you were a pleasant character, do you always insist? Right. You retreat a lot, right? The niceness is very clear, is very apparent that you know you don't really like to be what's the term, insisting so much or being so picky or things like that, you know. Very positive characters, okay? And also you can also try to find little melodies within certain phrases that people would not think that they are actually melodies. Like for example, in this particular phrase, this is there's a melody here. You know, it's like an inserted melody. All right. So to also change the color of that repeated phrase, it's much nicer to discover new things that nobody would ever think that would exist. Okay, for example, okay, I haven't played this in years, so I haven't been really working on this, but try to find all of those novelties, those things that you would normally not put together. Because after hearing you play, it seemed a little bit very straightforward and very serious. It was not so operatic. That there are many characters. Mozart in his operas loved many characters. You know, suddenly he would go from duets to trios to quartets to quintets, sextets, octets. You know, everybody joining in the fun. You know, you have to discover those characters in such a short movement. Okay, let's try it again from the beginning. When you played it earlier, okay? Now you're finding ways of changing the character or presenting the character, or sometimes, you know, some characters, like in Marvel, for example, you know, you have Bruce Banner and the Incredible Hulk, you know. There are characters like that change their way of treating people, how to, you know, things like that. So the same thing goes in music. You know, you have to look at music as a story all the time, especially in classical piano. There's very few can actually understand it because it's not a visual art. It's not like cinema or film or operas even, because there are no words, right? So you have to create, it's like an audiobook without words. How do you create those characters? How do you make them likable or dislikable? Who is the antagonist? Who is the protagonist? You know, things like that, especially in Mozart, because Mozart is so transparent. There's always a wondering moment for the audience to figure out, what character is this? Is this the antagonist? Is this the protagonist? Is it the secret lover, or the, you know, the jealous boyfriend, or, you know, things like that. So all of his piano works have that kind of operatic element. Okay, all right, try it again. Okay, but within that, like tampa, don't make it plain and straightforward. Pam pam, you know, there are many kinds of dynamic ways. You have linear dynamics, and you have terrace dynamics. In this case, it's kind of like these two are terrace dynamics. It's either you're going up or you're going down in terrace form. But within that one terrace, there's also linear dynamics. Okay, so try to shape that. Remember what we said about the melody being contoured and the harmony being stagnant? Okay, show us the contour of this. Don't make it just the harmony being stagnant and also the melody being stagnant. The melody has to be contoured and shaped. Try it again. You did it all pretty much plain. Linear again. Okay? Now this time starting from nothing and building it up. But maintaining the lightness. Okay? Dynamics is very different from depth. Depth is light and deep. Okay? Dynamics is soft, loud, you know, it's volume basically. All right? You create that volume. But with depth when depth is concerned, you can be light, soft and loud, deep, soft and loud. See? So it's different. Don't mix them together. Don't confuse them to be the same. It's not. Okay. So stay light, yes, but shape it dynamically. All right. Try it again from here. Better. Okay. Now I'm noticing you're not using pedal. Why aren't you using pedal? What is the purpose of the pedal? I mean, this is a great modern instrument, and it has pedals. Why aren't you using them? Ah, okay. What is the purpose of the pedal? The sound to resonate. That's not the main purpose, but it has that function. Yes, it has that function, but that's not the purpose. The main purpose of using the pedal is to color. All right? That's why when I draft a piece of music, and the first time I learned it, I never use pedal until what my fingers can do are already secured. Everything, all of the phrasing, of course, the notes, the phrasing, the dynamics, all of the markings that are on the score, I've already pretty much secured. I start putting pedal to color. Like, there's not only one kind of blue, right? There are many kinds of blue. sky blue, there's dark blue, there's midnight blue, right? That's what the pedal does. Another function of the pedal is that it establishes harmonic structure. Okay? What I mean by that is that, for example, if the line, right, is a broken down harmony, that is the pedal establishes that particular harmony. Okay? I know it's staccato, but isn't that not staccato even with pedal? It's still staccato. And then if I take out the pedal in the next group, see, it's a different color all of a sudden. Okay? So it's not necessarily that you should always use the pedal. Pedaling is an art form in itself. And usually it depends on how you hear it. When you establish the harmony, how would you like to make it sound? Wet or dry? You know, there are many purposes for the pedal. And of course, things that the hands cannot reach or cannot achieve, it helps, right? For example, in a Mozart, in a Chopin nocturne, you would like to hold that because you want to determine the bass, right? Of course, the hands cannot do it, so the pedal helps it, right? Another purpose for the pedal is phrasing. It helps phrase. For example, okay, for example, for an example. Here, okay. Things like that. And also, look at this. If you don't pedal here, it's dry. You hear the dryness, right? Even though you're playing legato, you hear the dryness. But look at this. See? It has color. Understood? Okay, so let's put a little bit of pedal. Because, you know, everything's secure already. Now you know that you have to separate the melody from the harmony. Now you know that you have to shape the melody lines into contours and make the harmony stagnant. You know, an operatic voice is not dry. Never. Okay, so that's why you need to now we have to add pedal. The problem with pedaling in the 18th century, especially even before them, Bach, Haydn, Mozart, is that you cannot pedal on passing tones or neighboring tones, because when you pedal 2 or 3 passing tones, that already distorts the harmony or the changes of harmony, or it makes the harmonies overlap. So you're trying to avoid that. Okay, so let's try this with a little bit of pedal. See what you can do. Listen carefully to the harmonies, and when there are passing tones, don't pedal. Try to listen for it. Try it again. That's good. See, that's already a start. Why did you put pedal only on the 2 Gs? Because it has to project, right? It has to be brilliant and light, like a soprano, right? Okay? Don't forget to play this lighter, okay? You're playing it deep again. Careful. All right, try it again. Okay, good, better. Why not after the trill? There's your harmonic structure. Okay? These are all passing tones and neighboring tones because they're trills and mordents and turns like that. Those are all passing in the neighboring tones. So obviously you don't pedal. And it's nicer to hear that dry and crisp and light, right? But see, right after, I put the pedal down so that you hear a little bit of the overtones of the harmony. Okay? So many characters in one measure, right away, right? And the pedal does that coloring. You know, a lot of students, the way they practice, they put the pedal down. And so they don't hear all of the problems. Or all of, you know, it's like doing dirty laundry and then you don't see the blemishes and the spots if you put the pedal down. Pedal is like the suds of soap. You know, it covers up all of the blemishes while you're actually doing the laundry, okay? But if you look at the problem with pedal also is that it does not hide the dirt under the rug. On the contrary, it magnifies the mistakes. Okay, so that's why I use it only as a coloring tool. It does not have that function either of putting it down and then everything goes faster, like a car, right? It's not the gas pedal, okay? So find all of those characters and color them. And also, it's a generational, monumental mistake that, you know, pedal actually creates music. It does not. It's not a musical thing. It's basically painting a wall or painting a door. But you know, if those doors and those walls and the roof do not exist and they're not strong enough, what's the point of coloring them, right? Okay. So now that you have established all of your structures, your walls, your doors, your roof, and they sound very secure, now we're furnishing the house, the very secure house, and coloring it, okay, and making it beautiful, all right? This one sounded again like the first time. Change its color, okay? Nice idea. work. It's changed so much in such a short amount of time, okay? Again, I still feel, I know you're trying to, you're intending to change the color of this repetition of that, right? Don't just intend, do it. Intentions, somebody said that the road to hell is paved with good intentions. You have to do the good deed so that, not just intend. Okay, so do something and change that character. Okay. It says a 30-second note going into a dotted 16th, right? But that's not accurate. I think you should check with Henley with what I think that's just a an appoggiatura. So it's actually it's just like the same. All right. So it should not be different. I don't think it's a grace note either. I think it's more of an appoggiatura that makes it like this. All right, so check that. Go on. It looks the same. It looks like a twin brother, but it's not the twin. There's the evil twin. Okay, so. Did you notice that because you're trying to make it operatic, suddenly your tempo has actually gone down? It doesn't sound virtuosic anymore, right? All right? Now it's very Mozartian. It doesn't sound Beethoven-esque, okay? So every time that you have twins, one is good, one is evil, okay? Not in life, but I'm talking about this particular music, okay? There's a pleasant twin and even a nicer twin. That's nice. Okay, do it again. can do all kinds of things just to change the color. Okay? Try that. A little bit more of changes with pedal. It has transformed into something else. You know, and I can feel it. We can see it in your facial expressions and your body language. Now you're more relaxed, right? You're not making any effort anymore because you're thinking. Your mind is. You're thinking about creating different characters instead of making the effort of playing something clean and fast and you know, colorless. All right? So you would want to always keep on thinking about those one measure at a time. How do you make these characters, create these different characters? All right? Continue. Changes of characters and the repetitions in the first, everything else got contaminated. Suddenly you have established new characters, left and right, you know, masculine, feminine, exciting, pleasant, a little bit of humor, you know. So if you do that for the rest of the movement, even in the third movement has all of those issues. You know, you don't want it to make it necessarily fast, but I think it's even nicer that you're doing it. You pull down the tempo a little bit so that you can display the various characters and colors that you produced. Okay, great. Thank you so much, Aidan. Looking forward to your revisions for next week.